Part 1. The apartment above mine. I always thought the soundproofing in my building was decent. Until 2 weeks ago, when I started hearing things that shouldn't have been there. At first, it was subtle, a soft shuffle of feet above my ceiling, like someone was pacing slowly back and forth for hours in the dead of night. I figured it was a new tenant settling in. Normal. But then it changed. The pacing became uneven, like the person was dragging one foot. Occasionally, there was a quiet thump, barely loud enough to notice, as if something heavy was dropped and immediately picked up again. I told myself it was just imagination. Buildings creak, pipes rattle, old floors settle. But one night, I woke up at exactly 3:14 a.m. to a sound that made my stomach knot in a way nothing had before. A whisper directly above me. Not muffled, not from a neighbor watching TV, but a deliberate, quiet, human whisper saying my name. Alex. I froze. My apartment was empty. I told myself I must be dreaming. But the whisper came again. Alex, wake up. It wasn't angry, not playful, not desperate. It was patient, expectant. I couldn't sleep the rest of the night. Every noise above me, every creak of the floor, felt like it was synchronized with my own heartbeat. By morning, I was exhausted but determined. I decided to confront the situation. I would knock on the apartment above. Say hello. Find out who lived there. Part 2. The apartment above mine. I stepped out of my apartment that morning, forcing myself to act casual, like nothing had happened. The hallway smelled faintly of disinfectant and something else, something metallic, almost coppery. I frowned but ignored it, telling myself it was nothing. I reached the door above mine. Apartment 3B. The paint was chipped, the numbers slightly crooked. I knocked lightly at first. Nothing. I waited, but the silence stretched unnaturally long. Then I knocked again, a bit louder. Still nothing. Curiosity and unease warred inside me. I pressed my ear against the door. A faint sound, the shuffling of feet, and then a whisper. Alex, come in. My stomach dropped. My name again. Calm, soft, unnervingly familiar, like it knew me better than anyone else. I took a step back, my hand trembling slightly. I was about to leave when the doorknob turned slowly, deliberately, without anyone touching it. The door creaked open. Empty hallway beyond. No one there. I thought about calling the police, about leaving and never coming back. But something drew me forward, an instinct I couldn't name. I stepped inside. The apartment was dark, almost completely bare. A single lamp in the corner flickered weakly, casting shadows that seemed to crawl along the walls. Then I saw it, a small, old-fashioned notebook, lying open on the floor. Pages yellowed, filled with a messy scrawl that made my blood run cold. And on the page, in perfect handwriting, was my name over and over. Every line, every page, written as if it had been waiting for me. The whisper returned, softer this time, behind me. Alex, you're finally here. I spun around. Empty room. The shadows danced, but no one was there. Then a new sound, a tap from above. Not the ceiling, the floor above this apartment. Apartment 4B. I froze. My mind screamed. There shouldn't be anyone above 3B. The building only had 3 floors. The whisper, now more insistent. Don't look up, Alex. But my eyes did anyway. Part 3. The apartment above mine. I stood frozen for what felt like minutes. my eyes glued to the faint outline of the ceiling above 3B. The tapping sound had stopped, replaced by a low, almost imperceptible hum, a vibration that seemed to come from the walls themselves. My chest tightened, and I felt sweat prickling at the back of my neck. I wanted to run. Every instinct in me screamed to bolt, leave the apartment, leave the building, leave the city if I had to. But something, a sick curiosity, or maybe something older, darker, held me in place. I slowly knelt to examine the notebook. The pages were all my name, written in variations of handwriting I didn't recognize. Some lines were jagged, aggressive. Others were elegant, almost practiced, like a calligrapher had taken their time. My name sprawled across the paper as if documenting something, a pattern, a ritual, a countdown. Then I noticed the date in the corner of the page. Today's date. My heart skipped a beat. How could it be today? I hadn't written this. I hadn't even seen the notebook before. I flipped the page. There, scrawled in larger letters, was a phrase that made my blood run cold. You should have left when you had the chance. The room temperature seemed to drop. I could see my breath in the dim light of the flickering lamp. Shadows twisted unnaturally along the walls, elongating and retracting as if they were alive. The hum grew louder, filling my skull with a vibration that was almost painful. And then I heard it, a soft, deliberate whisper, this time coming from all directions at once. Alex, come upstairs. I froze. Upstairs. There was no upstairs, only a thin, false ceiling above the third floor, and beyond that, the sky. My rational mind tried to dismiss it. It's a prank, an echo, something in the building's wiring. But deep down I knew better. This was something else, something impossible, something waiting for me to follow. Before I could process it further, the lamp flickered violently, plunging the room into near darkness. When it stabilized, I saw a figure standing in the corner, indistinct, shadowy, yet undeniably human. Its head tilted slightly, observing me. I couldn't tell if it was smiling or simply watching. My limbs refused to move. My mouth dry. I tried to call out, but my voice didn't come. The figure stepped forward. The floorboards beneath its feet didn't creak. It moved with a silent, unnatural grace. And with every step it took, the shadows around it seemed to reach outward, stretching toward me. The whisper returned, this time a voice I recognized, mine. Come upstairs, Alex, it's your turn. I stumbled backward, almost falling over the notebook. The words on the pages now seemed to crawl, rearranging themselves before my eyes. My name twisted into shapes I couldn't comprehend, letters stretching, bending, some forming faces staring directly at me. Panic surged. I wanted to scream, to run, to break the door down and never look back. But the figure was already closer, and the whisper, my whisper, was growing louder, more insistent. Then, in a sudden motion, the figure lunged, not toward me, but through the ceiling, dissolving into a shadow that seemed to sink upward into the invisible floor above. The hum ceased. The shadows froze. The lamp flickered once more and stabilized, leaving the room eerily silent. I was alone, or at least I thought I was. The notebook lay open, the last line on the page freshly inscribed, glowing faintly in the dim light. We're waiting for you. I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't. Every sound in the building made me jump. A creak, a footstep, a whisper that might not be there. I couldn't shake the feeling that something, somewhere, was watching, waiting for me to make the next move. Part 4. The apartment above mine. The final night. I didn't leave my apartment for 3 days. I didn't answer calls, texts, or even the door. Every noise, a creak, a drip of water, a distant footstep, made my heart jump. I started sleeping in the living room, flashlight in hand, notebook beside me. On the 4th night, I couldn't resist. The whisper had returned. Softer now, almost coaxing, but unmistakably mine. "Alex, it's time." I followed it, my body moving before my mind could protest. The hallway outside 3B stretched unnaturally long, shadows crawling along the walls. The door to 3B stood ajar. I knew I had locked it, but it was open. Inside, the apartment was empty. The lamp flickered weakly, and the notebook lay on the floor, open to a page I hadn't seen before. My name was written in jagged letters again, but underneath, a sentence I couldn't read at first. I leaned closer. It wasn't written in ink. It was etched into the paper itself, forming words that seemed to pulse. "You've been observed. You've been guided. Now we need you." A cold dread gripped me. I turned, and for the first time, I noticed the ceiling above me, faint cracks like something pressing from above. A shadow moved across the cracks, large, deliberate, and perfectly synchronized with my heartbeat. The whisper came again, this time from the ceiling itself. "Come upstairs, Alex, it's time to join us." I stumbled backward, my mind screaming at me to leave, but my legs refused. Something inside me, a compulsion I couldn't resist, pushed me forward. I looked up and saw the impossible. The ceiling opening, a dark, infinite space beyond, and shapes moving just above, watching, waiting. I felt myself being pulled forward, drawn toward that impossible space. The notebook flipped open on its own, pages fluttering, letters rearranging into faces, dozens of faces, all staring at me, whispering in my voice. And then I understood. This wasn't a neighbor. This wasn't a prank. This wasn't a reflection. It was a process, a system, a design. I was never alone. The building, the whispers, the shadows, they had been preparing me, observing me, aligning me. I stumbled to the ceiling, drawn by an invisible hand, a force older than reason. Just before I crossed the threshold, the notebook flared with a final line, glowing impossibly bright. "You are ready. You belong." Then everything went black. I woke up in my apartment the next morning. Sunlight spilled across the floor. The notebook was gone. The ceiling above me was normal. No cracks. No shadows. Everything seemed fine. Too fine. But I know the truth now. I'm never really alone. Somewhere above, beyond, waiting, something remembers. Something watches. And one day, when I forget, it will call my name again. I can feel it, and I already know I'll answer. Final extended, the apartment above mine. I didn't move at first. Even after everything went dark, even after I felt that pull disappear, I just lay there on the floor of my apartment, staring at the ceiling, waiting for it to open again. It didn't. Morning came slowly, not with sunlight, not at first, but with silence. A strange, complete silence that felt unnatural, like the building itself had stopped breathing. When the light finally crept through the window, everything looked exactly as it always had. The ceiling above me was intact. No cracks, no shadows, No movement. Apartment 3B was locked again, as if nothing had ever happened. I should have left that day, packed everything, moved out, never looked back. But I didn't, because I needed to know. That same evening, I went back upstairs. This time, I didn't hesitate. I knocked once, then twice. Nothing. I tried the handle. Locked. But as I turned away, ready to leave, I heard it. Not a whisper. Not this time. A sound I hadn't noticed before. A click. I turned back slowly. The door to 3B was slightly open. The room inside looked different. Not darker. Not distorted. Normal. Too normal. The lamp was steady. No flickering. No shadows moving. No notebook on the floor. Just an empty apartment. I stepped inside, cautiously, every muscle tense, expecting something to change, something to reveal itself. But nothing did. I checked every room. The kitchen, the bathroom, the bedroom. All empty, all clean, all unused. Until I reached the closet. The door was slightly open. Inside, there was nothing at first glance. Just bare walls. Dust. Silence. Then I noticed it. A panel, barely visible, set into the back wall. I stepped closer, ran my hand along it, and felt a seam. My heart started pounding again. Not from fear this time, from recognition. I pushed. The panel opened with a soft, mechanical click. Behind it, stairs. Narrow, dark, going up, higher than the building should allow. I stared at them for a long time, trying to rationalize, try to convince myself this was just some hidden maintenance access. But I already knew there was no fourth floor, and yet the stairs continued. I should have closed it, walked away, pretended I never saw it. But instead, I stepped inside. The air changed immediately. Colder, heavier. Each step upward felt wrong, like I was moving through a space that didn't fully exist, like the distance between steps didn't match the movement of my body. The light from below faded quickly, replaced by a dim, ambient glow that had no clear source. And then I heard it again. Footsteps. Not mine. Above me. Walking. Dragging slightly. The same uneven rhythm I had heard from my apartment. Only now, it was real. I kept climbing, step by step, until the stairs ended. At a door. No number. No handle. Just a flat surface. And from behind it, breathing. Slow. Steady. Familiar. I didn't knock. I already knew. I placed my hand against the door, and it opened. Inside was my apartment, exactly as it was. Same furniture, same layout, same light coming through the window. And in the center of the room, someone was sitting, on my couch, back turned to me, wearing my clothes, sitting exactly how I sit, watching something I couldn't see. I stepped forward slowly. The floor didn't creak. The air didn't move. Everything felt paused until the person spoke, without turning around. Finally, my voice, perfectly mine. I stopped, my mind racing, trying to understand, trying to deny what I was seeing. "Who are you?" I asked. A pause, then a quiet exhale. "Me," it said. It stood up slowly, turned, and I saw it clearly. Not a copy, not something distorted. Just me, but different, calmer, still, like something had been removed or completed. "You weren't supposed to come up here," it said. "Then why call me?" I asked. A faint smile. "I didn't." Silence filled the room. "Then what is this?" I asked. It looked around the apartment, then back at me. "This is where they fix it," it said. "Fix what?" It held my gaze. You. My stomach dropped. What does that mean? It tilted its head slightly. You heard the noises. You felt it. You hesitated. You questioned. You didn't align. Each word felt precise, measured. So they make another, it continued. A version that does. I stepped back slowly. No, that's not. You're not the first, it interrupted. The notebook, the names, the voices. Everything clicked. They weren't calling me, I said quietly. They were replacing me. It didn't answer. It didn't need to. I looked at it, at myself, and for the first time, I noticed something small, something subtle. It wasn't breathing, not like I was, not uneven, not human, perfectly steady. Now what? I asked. A long pause. Then it stepped closer, and for the first time, I felt something shift, like space itself was adjusting. You go back, it said, and I stay. No, but even as I said it, I felt a happening, my body growing heavier, slower, like I was being pushed out of sync. The room flickered. For a split second, I saw myself on the couch, watching, waiting. Then, everything snapped back. I woke up in my apartment, on my couch, TV on, light normal, everything fine. I sat there for a long time, not moving, waiting, listening. There were no footsteps above me anymore, no whispers, no movement. Apartment 3B was empty, always had been. That's what the landlord said. And this time, I believed him, because now, when I look in the mirror, everything matches perfectly. No hesitation, no delay, no doubt. And sometimes, late at night, when everything is completely silent, I hear something, very faint, from above. Footsteps, uneven, dragging slightly, and I realize something I didn't before. It didn't fix me. They moved me.